the report that I give it to him would not be able to help him generate more sales in the upcoming month. It's only reporting on the past figures. So to him, it's like, Alan, come in here, tell me how much I earn or how much I lose, what do I need to do, that's it. Then he can continue with my week. So for him, the intention is, I just need to know some of the numbers. But for the French boss that I had, he really wanted to have personal relationship. So I still remember his name is Christian. So I talked to him. And CP was a very nice guy because he would always ask me like, oh, how's your family doing? You know, how is it and how is that? Even though his report is the shortest of all. Because his department is the smallest. So all the report could have been done in 5 minutes, but yet I would take longer time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'll ask him like, oh, how's your family? Is your family coming in? And all this. So he felt like I'm trying to understand him as well. So on the, even though we are boss and subordinate, but they see me as family, I think that's part of the culture as well. So back to your questions, I think if you have 4 or not even 4, many different types of bosses, I think the first thing is to understand how do they prefer to be communicated? Do they prefer you to be very direct, or do they prefer you to praise them? You know, some bosses like to be pushy a little bit, right?
So if you have a friendly type of boss, you approach them, you communicate with them with your personality, and whereas if you have a direct kind of boss and a deep type, then you just set your intentions.
Yeah, so I go in here very straightforward. I'm coming in here to give a report. This is the report. Do you have any questions? No questions. I'll go out and I'll do my work. So they like it that way. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions? No? Ding Ding, you have a question?
Yeah, I got one for Aziman.
Aziman.
Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, if someone's in a difficult situation and you empathize with them, how far would you go to accommodate them? So, to give you a scenario, my mom works in the government with you, and she's got this employee whose husband has cancer. So she sometimes leaves work in the middle, just to go to tend to her husband. And sometimes what happens is that she leaves the counter open, or she comes late and she's the one with the key so that she can't open the office. So obviously this causes a lot of problems. But how much is enough? Because you feel sorry for her and her husband.
Right. Okay. Thank you. This depends on what kind of principle that you have as a leader, as a boss. So if say that person reports to you, you can set the rules early on ahead. So I have a lot of bosses that they learn from. So this is what he said: all of you can have my phone numbers. You can call me anytime, ask for help, but don't ask me for money. but it was clear. Call me anytime, day and night. Any problem, talk to me, and I would give you advice. I will work with you way forward. But it's not about like I'm going to give you money because of that. That's his principle, and I think that's a good way of doing it too. As a boss, see, it's like you're open for suggestions and problems, and it would help them to tell you clearly that you have this situation. So what could you do? To me, in that situation, I would tell them to plan ahead. So you know that there's a day and time for you scheduled for your appointment for the cancer treatment, perhaps, and who would have been able to replace you at that time? The keys could have been given to another person who's there, or stored in a safe place where everybody has access to it. So there's no straightforward like this is too much or not. That's the limit to it. To me, this is a more of a compassion thing. So like you would understand the situation there is, and you wish that there's some leeway or a way for them to get the excuse for them. Of course, if it's too much that it may affect the performance of the organization, then you might need to think of other ways of doing it. But if it's still okay, tolerable, manageable, can still be worked out among your team, then it should be okay. Because if you're in that shoe, you of course you wanted support from your team as well.
Do we have time for more questions? All right, we'll have some time for again later. Any more questions? Yes.
How do you deal with family members in the same profession?
Oh.
Anyone wants to start?
I have a husband and wife in the same building.
Is it?
Yeah.
In the same professions, as in working in the same organization. Okay. I can share with you. I run business in Syria. My family is quite involved in it, even without my permission. They will help me every time, even without me asking, because she's my mother. So she comes in, she would handle some of the stuff, but then because we both have different stuff, it actually creates some friction among the organizations. What do I mean? So when I come in here, I'll say hi to all my staff. I'm quite an easygoing guy. I'm very empathic. I actually once hired someone who recovered from a drug recovery center. What do you call that? So rehab center. So nobody wants to hire him. So I hired him. So I talked to him. He wants a chance for a new life, so I hired him. So I gave him chance, I gave him guidance. Our whole team were very, very patient with him. Of course, on the other hand, my mother, who is a bit more worried, so she would have less patience. So when she comes in here, she would not be able to treat my subordinates as how I treat them. Is she wrong? Am I right? I think there's no right or wrong in this case. It's the way how you want to run it. So when you have family members in the same profession or in the same organization, I think it's even tougher than dealing with bosses. Because number one, you get to see them every other day. Or number two, if they happens to be your parent or someone who is elderly than you, sometimes it's hard to talk to them. Did I have conversation with my mother? A lot. How many times? I think a few times a year. How many years already? A few years already. Do we still have conflict? I think we still have conflict. But right now it's more manageable. So now she knows the way that I want to handle it. And what I do is, if you can't really communicate well, right, like I said, another way is to mitigate it. So how do I mitigate it? I reduce the amount of time that she needs to be at the office. So how do I tell her that? Of course I have to be very skillful around that. Mom, I have a very important job for you. I'm super important. I cannot trust any of my staff to do this. I need you, and only you can do this. I need you to handle the cash. Mother, right, she's so excited. She's like, wow, handle the cash, can. So she would be the one that goes to the office every night to take the petty cash. So the 12 hours of operating hours, she will only come in at night. So what happened is that half an hour, I tell my staff, bear with me, bear with auntie. The 11 hours, it's all yours. Is it the best way? I don't know whether there's another better way, but at least for this moment right now, for mom, it works. For me, it works. For my staff, so far, nobody resigned yet for the last few years. So I think it's a win-win situation for now.
Well, in the government, there's a policy that usually like husband and wives are not allowed to be in the same office. So of course they have to arrange a way that they are not. So it could be. But in my case, I have a colleague. The wife is in our office. The husband is in a different section. So that's fine. However, there are times that we have to meet for a meeting. We keep it professional. So in a meeting, you know that the meeting etiquette. You know, you're the chairman. You need to be professional. You need to address everyone with the same respect of everybody. No inside jokes. If you think that there's always like everyone is like a stranger, or depending on the audience of the members of the meeting. So sometimes like, can I invite you to discuss something? Can I, hey, your wife, I don't want to share. There's a time, if it's a small team meeting, maybe yes, but if it's someone outside your office are in the meeting, you need to address the professional, like there are different offices. So there's no relationship in that office or that meeting. Second case, I have one. This is when it becomes a problem. So husband and wife, before they were married, the husband comes early to work. Now that they're married, because the wife is late, I'm not generalizing, it's just like this happened that the wife has always been coming late to work. Because they're married, now that husband comes late to work too. So now that becomes a problem. So this is where you try to intervene, try to talk to the husband, work with her and see how they can mitigate this problem. Maybe they could come early. If they cannot, maybe you can go back to where it was before. So you drive different cars because you need to come early. But it's fine, it works because sometimes you have meetings that have to stay late. So that's why it's sometimes find a way that it works for both of you, at least not affect your performance. So this is a lot of situations that you may have to deal with uniquely because of what happens to the situation.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have two different solutions to that. Don't tell Mama Ellen this or anything. Anyways, Timer, do we have any more? No, we have one more.
I'm sorry that I didn't, although 3 years on the boss, it to me, I felt that it's not okay. So I should send it to my boss. My boss didn't say anything. So should I say something?
I like this question. Let me rephrase. Thank you for your questions. Let me rephrase it if I get it correctly, right? Aziman submitted something to me in a certain way. It might not be as very detailed. When I look at it, I'm like, some of the information are missing. So I want it to be more complete. But somehow, when this work gets to my boss, he's like, I'm fine with it. I think we have a lot of situations like this as well. Number one, okay, sorry, I have to cross a little bit here. I think number one is how personal behavior. For example, I'm a person who likes detail. So of course, any word that comes to me, my first instinct is how much information have you presented. But what if my boss is someone who is not as detailed as me, so they will feel that it's okay. So I think the easiest way is always to tell people that, hey, it's not enough, and tell boss that, hey, boss, actually it's not enough. But sometimes this kind of behavior might create more conflict because it's our expectation. And I think it's hardest, the toughest expectation to manage is not someone else's expectation, it's actually our own expectation. Because once we set a certain expectation, we set a certain standard, right? Sometimes we can achieve it easily, but for others it's very hard. So I cannot ask you to lower down the expectation on the detail because that's who you are, that's what you take pride in, and maybe that's the reason why you're so good at your job. This has to go communications towards the staff saying that, you know what, if it's coming to me, I need more information, can you please provide this for me? In a way that they like to be talked to. To the managers, if they feel like we don't really need this, then maybe you can stick that, but maybe they miss out something. So at the end of the day, right, there is no best answer for your situations. Is if your boss is happy and if your subordinate is happy and you're the only one who is feeling like not so adequate, maybe can you adjust a little bit in terms of the expectation. That's what I would do for myself I'm speaking from experience because that's what I do as well. I expect certain things from my staff. When they pass it on to me, of course, it never meets my expectation. But when they pass it on to my boss, right, they're happy with it. So what can I do? I cannot tell my boss, hey, fire this guy, not competent enough. But no, it's okay for my boss. So if I come from a point of view of a corporate or of a hierarchy, right, if my upper management is really okay with it, then there's nothing much I can do. I'll just let it go so that they are happy. I'll channel my energy to do something else, which is more productive. So that's how I handle it. I hope I answered your questions.
Question?
Actually, I'm still a student studying in TV, and I'm dealing with my lecturer. He's some kind of and he's a supervisor for my final year project. So he tends to be kind of famously ridiculous, and so like time to time when we ask this, are we doing this project correctly or not? He would divert or very hard to communicate. And someone is not local, is Indian lecturer. The language barrier is okay, but the way he communicates is really troublesome for me. Like you said, expectation, everything, I kind of catch it a bit, but I still feel frustrated trying to communicate. How do we deal with this?
So basically, you talk to him one thing, he diverts the
yeah, or try to like, let's say I don't have data about this program. Can you teach us or anything? You just divert away. You guys should know about this already, but something. And then some student will say, you just keep on asking him, he will give you an end, or that's a difficult part from my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think first premise I would say it right. I think when it comes to all this communication, right, it has nothing to do with race, culture, background. I think this everything will be out of it because you would have difficult people coming from all across different gender, different race, different background as well. So I think this has nothing to do with it. The easiest, the fastest way is that you should come to my workshop. Okay, that is the fastest way to do so. But generally it goes back again. Different people behave differently because they have certain expectations. The thing is, do you know what they want? So if you know what they want or how they prefer to be communicated with, then things get smoother. In your case, if he doesn't want to communicate, maybe you need to understand why is he behaving that way. Open communications, or you need to ask. But if after finding out all this information, it's not a behavior issue, it's just an attitude, then there's nothing much you can do because you can't change someone else's attitude. Yes. This is my take. Aziman might have a different take.
Yeah, to me, I think it's if he goes off topic, usually, I mean, again, bring it back to a work situation. There are people who tends to talk about something goes way off topic. You just need to keep bringing back to earth. There's a way of phrasing it, you see, like without offending them. Like you can always acknowledge first. Oh yes, I agree with that. Oh, by the way, going back to this, so you have to bring it back, redirect them back to what the discussion is about. Maybe he said, oh, you haven't tried this, you should have done this. Maybe tell it to him, yes, I've tried this and it didn't work. Maybe he needs more advice from you. Maybe in a way, sometimes in a way that they like to be praised, perhaps. So you know, maybe there's a way that makes him feel good that he would be willing to help. So maybe there's a way that you could understand that how he behaves. Yeah, maybe that's how you could understand like where he's coming from, and you can talk your way to get what you want. So I think it's about how you speak to him too. It's like maybe not to direct, not to soft. Maybe there's a way that how he likes to talk about it. Maybe entertain his digression a little bit. Yes, acknowledge it.
Get him interested into your topic and
Yeah. And then like go back to that. I'm sure it's not practical like doing like this stuff here, but I think it doesn't hurt to try to entertain him for a while and like go.
Because I tend to be the direct person. I need to know this.
Yeah.
Sometimes lecturing is like they just follow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. That's all the time we have. If you have any specific questions, I'm sure you have some, you can go to them after the meeting. And I'm sure they're both happy to maybe solve it in any way. And with that, thank you very much, Alan, and thank you very much, Aziman.
Thank you.